Hello, everyone. You're not late, you're just early in the process. This is because it's never too late to start anything you want to do. Really don't matter your age. Now, the earlier you start is a positive, but if you start later, that's a positive too. Reason being is because you made a conscious effort. I take it that you have done your due diligence, you've done your research. You also know that it's going to be a process and that it's not going to happen as quickly as you would like. And if it does happen quicker than you expect, then you know what? It's a surprise. It was something that you were not anticipating, which is good. Whatever it is you want to do, as long as you get started and as long as you put in sincere effort, and that consists of not BSing yourself first and foremost. Yeah, that's very vital. And something that could help you is not really telling anyone until you have it done. I mean, you could tell people before. You really can. There's no crime in it. The thing is that it gives off the pleasure as if you completed the task. And as we know, the brain cannot separate if you did the work or if you did not do the work. You just get the feeling. And then, of course, if you keep it to yourself, you can prevent having people hating on you. And you can tell people, but then they'll be waiting to see what you're going to do. And there's nothing wrong with that because in a sense they can hold you accountable. But as I've always stated, the real game, the real sort of effort is you versus yourself. And as we go out here in the world on a daily basis, I'm sure you hear whispers of, you know, you're too old to do this, you're too late to do that. Now, anyone that has social media, there's a lot of positive stories of people accomplishing things later in life. There's also information out there about individuals that started businesses later in life. So let me guess, all of those individuals were successful because one, they put in the work, they believed in what they were doing, and they also understood it was never too late. They were just early in the process. Because see, early in the process is just basically when you just make up your mind to do something and you look at it, you look at the board completely. Like you're taking the pros, you're taking the cons, you're taking the unknowns, which we refer to as life happens. You have to take all of that in. But if you're under an illusion that is just going to be smooth sailings, as if you're the captain on the ship and Mother Nature is never going to come and increase the waves and increase the currents, then it can get kind of dicey. Kind of dicey. If you understand that, as well as understanding that there's going to be problems that arise, you can go ahead and guarantee that. The problem could be anything you did not foresee coming or something that you did not plan for. Even the best plotter, the best planner cannot account for everything. But, excuse me, what he or she can do is have solutions already in mind for problems that are going to arise. And that way, that will help each individual continue with their process smoothly. Because let's say you have the right mindset, you already foresaw problems arising, and since you already forecast that, you already have the solutions. So you just understand that this is just part of the process, and that you're not late, and it's just to be expected. It's almost like you at home chilling. For example, when you may get that knock on the door, unwanted knock. Now you may not expect the knock to come at your door, at a certain hour. But when you get that knock from living life, you knew that something crazy like that can happen. So you know how to handle it. You don't bug out. You just go through the certain protocols and then you move on about your day. Again, you're not late. You're just early in the process. Because some people may say, hey, if you don't do it early, if you don't do it while you're young, and then you're SOL. But this is the thing. How can you do something at any age when you're not honed in on it? If it's something that you don't have 10 toes in the ground on, it's just half stepping, it's just lip service. And again, it's for yourself, you the individual, whatever task you want to embark on. And again, if you want to be held accountable, just look in the mirror. Because again, you can talk, it can sound good, you can come up with the parables, but at the end of the day, if talking is not part of the process, unless you're doing some networking or you're trying to get some understanding on something, then again, you're not late. You're just early in the process. Now, the people that can be deemed as late is people that don't understand that it's a process and it just won't happen like quick grits in the microwave packet from back in the day. And they may still have that now, but moving on, anyone out there that's embarking on something, a journey, getting something patented, trying to knock off tasks on your bucket list, just know that you're not late. You're just early in the process. Because it truly is. Because if you don't want to do something, you don't want to do it. But the day and the time and the moment you make up your mind, then you're just early in the process. Because everything is a process. There's no way of going around it. And you all can tell me in the comment section, do you all know of anything that is in a process? Hell, even pondering and coming up with the word no, or pondering on something and saying yes, or not thinking you was going to embark on something, but then it became enticing to you. All of that is a process. It's a quick process, but it's still a process. And once you come up with that process, then you're not late. You're just right on time. But if you never get to the point, no matter what it is in life, where it's something that you want to do for you and those in your boundary or only yourself, then the process is just null and void because it's not something that you want to do. No one can force you into doing anything. There has been countless stories of individuals trying to force individuals to do certain things or certain tasks. It could be from family members, friends, associates, marketing campaigns that you all currently see today. But this is the thing. Most of those things do not pan out if said person don't genuinely want to do it. If you all think I'm tripping, just ponder on it. Let's say you have a job and they just tell you like, hey, you got to work on Sunday, knowing that you're normally off on the weekends. You're probably not going to feel too terrific about that. And the main reason is because that was never part of the process. Thus, you were never late, and it's just out of the blue, and rightfully so. But if they would have told you before they hired you, like, hey, sometimes periodically you're going to have to work on Sunday. That just is going to be what it is. And then you agree to those terms and conditions. Then when they hit you up and say, hey, you're going to have to work this Sunday, you may still not want to do it, but you respect it because, you were not late. You were just early in the process. So I just wanted to bring this to you all today. Thanks for listening. You all have a good evening, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.